self-sovereign, virtual territories. Privacy preserving, politically neutral. Borderless, public institution, voluntary consent, resilient parallel societies, maximize the costs of surveillance, minimize the costs of exit. Trust, minimize corruption, resistant, undeserved citizens. Decentralized, decentralized.
not play the fool. But if it's out for deception and still playing cool like a piece of the puzzle was so quick to salute it now. Much too more to look for. Much too more to look for. We didn't see it, we never needed it. If that's enough, it's the way we live, and no one's asking why. It's about that time, but we don't have time. Give me that time and not what your heart will say. Yeah, we're really living through it, just get to do it. Come on, I said, we don't say it, but we never mean it. It's not enough, that's the way it works, and no one's asking why. Oh, it's around that time, but we never have the time. Give me that time and not what your heart will say. Yeah, we're really living through it, just get to do it. Oh, we're so sick of surviving, so sick of surviving, yeah.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to this week's edition of the Logos Dev Club. I'm Chair. I'm here to prop you up. Lots to get to today and many guests in the studio. So I will get right to it. Wherever you are watching, you can use the chat to ask questions. I implore you to early and often, as we have two big segments today that you can consume and query as such. I'm going to bring everyone in the studio up at this very moment and introduce them one by one, and we will get right into our program today. We have a lot of people is what we have. Give me one moment here, folks. There it is. There we go. Hey, everyone. We're missing someone. Who are we missing? There he is. So, in no particular order, we have across my screen, SP, the Logos team. We have David from the Logos team. We have Daniel from the Logos team, and we have
Hello.
Antonio from the Logos team, and we have Kevin Jones of Edge Node, of the BuidlGuidl, and Spritz.chat. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. As I play with the views, there we go. We are going to have a demo and presentation from Antonio on Overwatch from the Logos blockchain protocol. And Kevin will be getting into some live coding, perhaps, or agent building on Spritz for Logos, perhaps, or really whichever direction he would like to go. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Audience, thank you for being here as well. If you have not yet, like, subscribe, share, notifications on, all the accoutrement, please, and thank you. Again, use the chat for questions, as this will be a technically dense program today. Let's get right into it. We have Antonio from the Logos blockchain team. As I fire up, there we are. Hello, sir. Thank you for being here. And the stage is yours.
All right. Thank you. And yeah, thanks everyone for attending this somewhat high level, hopefully beginner friendly introduction to Overwatch. Blockchain engineer within the Logos blockchain team. And I'm going to talk about Overwatch, which is basically at the core of the Logos blockchain code base. In simplified terms, it's akin to what a microservice architecture would be for the traditional web world. it's designed to basically spawn services that are somewhat independent on each other and controlled by a central coordinator, which is called the Overwatch runner. And we rely a lot on it. It's a Rust product, and we do rely a lot on the nice features that Rust provides, which is strong type guarantees and doing as much as we can at compile time, so that we know that if it compiles, usually it runs fine. It allows for communication between services, which is mediated by the Overwatch runner, and then each service has a way of taking some configurations, some settings, storing some state, also to support sudden crashes of the node. So when it restarts, it picks up where it left off, and some lifecycle management to start, stop, restart other services, and also to get dynamic configuration updates in case some of the settings change while the service is running. I mentioned the key concept. We will go a little bit more in depth when I go over the example that we have in our repository. But in short, I said yes, there's a bunch of services which are mediated by the runner, each defining its own setting, state, and can communicate with other services with a type-safe relay. Without further ado, I would actually open the example, and we can go over all the different components that go into defining a service and running a set of services. This is from our repo, the Overwatch repo. It's a ping pong example, so it's a very simple example of two services communicating with each other, one sending a ping message, the other sending back a pong, and keeping some state internally so that after a certain amount of pings, it stops responding and they will just quit. We do a little bit of magic. We use a couple of macros to put everything together. And we can first go over single service definition. A service in Rust term is anything that implements two traits. One is the service data trait, which is mostly, it's kind of like an ID card for the document, and it's used to communicate with other services. And then we have the service core, which is all the logic that goes into actually running the service, and what does the service do, and how does it react to messages that it receives. As I said, the basic components of a service are the settings, the state, a state operator, which is anything that is able to store the state for an ongoing service, and also load the state when the service is restarted, either in the same run, or then if the overall node is shut down or it crashes and starts over again. This is the piece that will fetch the data from a file, from a database over the network. Oops. Yeah. And then a message. Each service defines its API, which is a message type that the other services can send to it if they want to access the services of the service that the service exposes. In this case, in the example ping service, we have, as I said, two services, very simple services that just communicate back and forth with each other. And for the ping service, we have the ping service defines a very simple settings type, which is just where to store the state that the service holds, and it's just a path. And as the state, it keeps a counter internally. In this example here, once the counter reaches 30, the service stops, and the whole node just stops. For the state operator, because we have a path in the settings, the state operator is basically doing fetching from a file, parsing the JSON into consumable state that the service knows, and then also writing state on the file system using a serde to serialize the state. Yeah, and the message type is a single. It's a very simple ping pong message, so there's no complicated logic in there. I will also show a little bit more complicated example taken from our node repo. But yeah, so this is basically the building blocks of the ping service. And then when it runs, it will access certain components that we make available for services. This is all kind of abstracted away from a specific service implementation, and it's this type service resource handle. So whenever a service is created in the init function of the service core trait, it gets a kind of a nicely packed struct, which contains different components that allow the service to accomplish different operations. It has an inbound relay that can be consumed to get a stream of incoming messages from other services. It has a status updater, which allows for the service to subscribe to changes in the status of other services. It has an Overwatch handle, which is the component on which they can be used to create relays to other services. It has a settings handle, which is also allows the service to react dynamically on settings change. So if the path to which the state is stored is for some reason changed by the UI, for instance, this service would be able to listen to the change and then update accordingly and start storing the state on the new path instead of the old one. And then it has a state updater, which is basically the interface through which the service can offload storing the state onto the file system or to another component, and that's all taken care of by the Overwatch runner through Rust and through trait implementations. So this is passed to each service. They can do whatever they want. Usually they want to listen for incoming messages. They want to hold the Overwatch handle to be able to create relays later on if they need to communicate to other services. Yeah, so that's what we do here. We know that the ping service wants to talk to the pong service, so it will try to create a relay with the pong service. This, of course, can fail for a variety of reasons. For instance, if the pong service is not currently running, this will fail. But there are certain types of error that we can actually catch already at compile time. For instance, when services are aggregated together with the derived services macro, we build an enum that is composed of all the aggregated services. So basically, you cannot create a relay with a service that is not part of the same runtime that this service is running in. So it could still fail if the other service is not running, but you wouldn't be able to, by mistake, create a relay with a service that is not included. So we kind of block a big bunch of errors by using static types. Yeah, so the ping service, I think I can close the README. The ping service has very simple logic. It loads the state, which is actually initialized by Overwatch, and it's given to the service. So they just need to store it. And the state contains the pong count. And then it reacts to different events. So every second, it sends a ping to the pong service using the outbound relay that we have created a few lines above. Whenever it receives a message on its inbound relay, in this case only from the pong service because it's the only service that is running in the same node, it will increase its internal counter, and then it will call the state updater to update the state with the new state. All of this is logic that the service is not really concerned about. Everything is handled by Overwatch. And then, yeah, if we reach 30 pings, then it will just break. We get out of the loop, and we shut down the node. In this case, The Pong service is even more simple because it doesn't need to hold any state. It just needs to react to messages that are incoming. So it won't have any specific setting. It won't have any specific operator or state. It just defines the Pong message as being ping. And then whenever, because the Pong service wants to also communicate to the ping service, it will also try to establish a relay with the ping service. And then whenever a message is received on the inbound relay, it will just use the outbound relay to send message using one of the variants that the ping message has defined. So there's no way to send anything that the ping message wouldn't be able to parse or recognize. And this is one of the nice features that also Rust gives us. And then, in the example, in this case, we have an aggregated structure, which is ping pong, which is deriving a bunch of things in the derive macro. But we'll get into it also a little bit later. And then we initialize the Overwatch runner, which is this entity here that is the overarching coordinator between services, by creating the settings that each service defines. In this case, we only have a path for the ping service, nothing for the Pong service, so we don't use anything. And then we just keep running the service, the whole binary, until we reach the end. And in this case, the end will be when the ping service has received 30 messages. We can see that for the purpose of this demonstration, I actually deleted previously saved state from the ping service. So we can just run the demo, and we should be seeing a few different things. So now we are seeing the output of both the ping and the Pong service. And we can see that the ping state is also, every time a message is received, it's being flushed to file system, and the state is internally. If we stop the node and we restart the node, it will pick up from where it left off. So it starts from 19 and we go on until it reaches 30, after which the service will stop. And now, because we stored the state, if we start again, it will not start because it already reached the maximum amount of pings. We can also change it again, and we can do these things. This is a very simple state recovery mechanism. Just uses a JSON document stored in a file. But of course, there are more complicated state recovery logic that also involves databases or other logic. So let's see. So I've shown, maybe, I don't know if there's any questions at this point that we should take, or
I'll ask the panel that we have here if anyone have anything at the top of the mind. I do, but I'm going to save my less technical questions. If no one has one, all right, I'll jump in. What is an example of like maybe a slightly more complicated service?
Okay.
A little more involvement.
We have a very big spectrum from slightly more complicated to much more complicated.
All right, let's do the most complicated.
Okay. I can go on our Logo blockchain node. We can check. So, a simple one is the time service. This is basically the system service for all the other services. It defines, so it follows exactly the same approach we've seen. So it defines some settings, and in this case, the settings that it defines are how long is a slot, when is the chain start time, and these are like slot configuration. We have epoch configuration, which is like related to our consensus system. So what is how long do we wait until we consider like the epoch values have stabilized, and then we have also some backend settings. So we have one more layer of interaction. In this case, we have the time service, but then how the actual time is retrieved, we have a trait for that, and we have an implementation which uses NTP. So in NTP service, in the NTP implementation, we do provide additional settings which are then just basically exposed through here. So there are some backend specific settings where we take what's the server address, what are some client settings that we want to use when we synchronize our clock with remote NTP server, and how often do we want to synchronize the clock. These are the settings for the time service. And then it defines, it doesn't have any recovery state, because trivially, if the service restarts, it will just synchronize again with the remote server. And the message that the API that it exposes are two. One is any service can get the current slot. So it's a one-shot operation. You ask for a slot, and you get back a slot tick, which gives you the current epoch and the current slot in the system. Or then you can also subscribe to the slot stream. And in this case, whenever there is a new slot tick, you would get a new value for this. So like an increasing slot value, and then also epoch changes when there is a new epoch. So this is a service that doesn't have any outgoing connections. It's a service that is meant to be consumed by other services. So it exposes an API and has an inbound relay, but it doesn't have any outbound relays. But then we can look at something a little bit more complicated would be the blend service, which it's fairly bit more complicated. This has both incoming and outgoing dependencies. You can see also by the number of generics, we have a lot of moving pieces. But it does define the same kind of settings. We do have a recovery system here, because in Blend especially, we collect reward tokens. So when we process a message, we collect rewards, which at the end of the epoch we want to present to get rewards. And of course, if the node crashes halfway, we want to still be able to keep track of which rewards we haven't really claimed. And so we keep track of that here. It also exposes an API, which is a very simple one in this case. Anyone can just call Blend and give it a network message, and Blend will take care of encapsulating the message with the network parameters that we have, and then send it out to all the nodes in the network according to our specification. You can skip over the Rust generics. We can maybe look a little bit more into the logic of the Blend service.
Not exactly a question, but we have a comment from ElectroWizard. Thank you for using the chat. They say, this seems like to work like WebSockets. Agree or disagree?
In what sense?
ElectroWizard, in what sense do you mean?
If it's in a sense that it's like a constant stream of updates, then yes, that could be seen like that. But this has, of course, nothing to do with web programming. This is entire and like inside the process of the node binary.
Understood. Electro, if you have any follow-up, we'll read it.
Yeah,
Sorry
sure.
to cut you off there, Antonio.
So that's the main difference here. We're talking about one binary, one process with different threads or different Tokyo tasks. So each service has runs on its own Tokyo task, but in the end, it's all one process. So there's no inter-process communication or network communication whatsoever. Everything happens inside the same binary.
That was exactly the question I wanted to ask. So you're saying it's the focus is for the architecture of the software, basically. You don't do multiple computer working together to.
No, this framework is to architect your software that runs on a single node, and then of course we have network protocols and specifications for systems of computers like the Blend network, for instance. But no, this only concerns how different pieces of your software communicate with each other.
is it planned to maybe modify Overwatch so that you could run a Logos blockchain node on multiple computer to get maybe some more performance or something like that, and
So,
having messages sent over the network or something like that?
so yes, it could be possible, but for that you will have to write your own like runtime, and depending what it will like right now the current implementation it relies totally on Tokyo, which is the runner that we use because the more extent, but the runtime is abstracted in Overwatch, and it could be possible to use other runtime, but it will be quite a bit of work, but it should be possible.
Yeah, I was asking that because I was looking at the Filecoin kind of architecture, and I think usually Filecoin miners, they have at least 3 different computers that work together as one node, and they have to communicate to and each computer has a different task, even if it's considered one node. So I was wondering if it was planned to go in that direction for the Logos blockchain.
No, I don't think we will be doing that, but it's possible. And yeah, as I said, it could be at runtime, or actually you could just separate the different services and then create different runners for different subset of services, and then just communicate them over the network. That will be even easier.
Yeah, exactly. You could define a service which is responsible for synchronizing work between different nodes, and then you can, in the settings of the service, you could provide a shared key or like something that restricts communication to a subset of nodes, and then you can use the service to communicate. I think we actually, if I can pause showing blend for a second, I could show our network service, which is basically the lib peer-to-peer overlay network that we create for nodes that communicate with each other. And this is the settings here are basically a bunch of, okay, I think this is it. Yeah. So we have a bunch of lib peer-to-peer settings here. So you can specify, what is the protocol name for nodes that want to identify each other, want to find each other with Kademlia, and so on. And so you could envision another service which would just be responsible for accomplishing a specific task over multiple different nodes. Any more questions or any follow-ups?
Anything from the panel here? I don't have anything in the chat at the moment.
I have a question about the messaging. Is there any ordering guarantees on the messages? Like if one service sends 2 messages to another service, will those get delivered in the same order?
Yes, we reuse the underlying Tokyo channels for that.
Okay, it's channels. Okay.
Yeah. It's in the end, it's all channels, different kinds of channel. We have broadcast channel, we have one-shot channel for one-shot operations, and MPSC channels for stuff that is kind of gathered together into one service. But it's all channels, so those provide these guarantees that you are asking about.
Cool.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of macros also. Like if one service initialization depends on another service being initialized first, we have a macro for that, which is a wait until service is ready. Sorry, and here the first 2 are kind of fixed. So this takes a reference to the Overwatch handle because it's used to monitor the status of other services. So we internally call, check whether the state of this specific service has gone from starting to started. We can give it a timeout or maybe not. and then a list of services which you want to be ready before this service starts. And in this case, for the blend service, because we do eventually we do broadcasting of blocks on our peer-to-peer network, we want the network service to be available. We also need to get ticks for new slots and new epochs. So we also want the time service to be available. We also want to get information from what's the latest set of service providers for Blend. So we want to know what are the nodes in the network and what is their public address that they have advertised using SDP protocol. So we want the membership service also to be ready, and then the KMS service. So some keys are not directly set in the config, but they are in the KMS, which is populated by either means, and then we just get a key reference, key ID reference, and then we just interact with KMS for some operations. And so we want the KMS to be ready. And once this macro completes, we know for sure that these services are ready, and then we can start interacting with them. So we can create relays to each of them with the network service. With the chain service, the KMS service, and then basically just run in the main loop, which is parsing incoming messages or reacting to events that happen locally on the blend in the blend service. So this is a little bit more complicated because it has a bunch of outgoing dependencies and also a bunch of incoming messages, mostly from the chain leader service, which is responsible for checking whether the node is winning the new slot that just started, in that case proposing a block, and then the chain leader service would send the blend message to the blend service, which would then wrap it and send it out to the network. Maybe I can show that here. So we get a local data message, which is a block proposal, and then we handle it by encapsulating it using the number of encapsulations that are defined in the blend specification. Also, if for any reason this is like specific to Blend, if we end up encapsulating one or more of the outermost layers to ourselves, because this process is entirely random, we generate a ZK proof, we hash it, and then we match the hash of the ZK proof to an index in the set of service providers for Blend. If the index actually corresponds to our index, then we have built a message for ourselves. In that case, we just decapsulate one layer and we store the blending token to claim it at the end of the epoch. So we also keep some state when we process these messages, so that we can then redeem them later on. Blend is probably not the most complicated service, but it's one of the most complicated ones because it also switches mode depending on the membership. Like if the node is part of the blend service providers, it starts in core mode. And if at some point the membership changes and the node is not part of the core service provider anymore, it will switch down the core mode and it will start in edge mode, which means that it can only blend block proposals, but it won't receive any incoming blend messages from other peers, and it won't be able to be part of it won't get any service rewards because it won't get any service messages. And for that we have a blend service, which is just a wrapper around the two sub-services, which is the core service and the edge service. And all it does, it's reacting to membership changes. So
can you repeat what would cause a node to move from blend to the edge?
Just the SDP protocol. So at any time, if you want to withdraw offering the blend service, like you're a blend service provider, at some point you want to withdraw, you withdraw, and then in the next epoch, when the new epoch starts, or 2 epochs later, basically the core, like the service, the blend service notices that this has changed, and they will then shut down the core node and will start the edge node, which means that it will drop all the peer-to-peer connection with other blend nodes and will only on-demand blend nodes to blend messages to other blend nodes, which is not itself because it's not part of the blend network anymore. So yeah, that's the only thing that this shell service does. It subscribes to a membership stream, and then it keeps monitoring membership events. And then depending on new membership info, it will either do nothing if the condition remains, or if the condition changes and it goes from edge to core or from core to edge, then it will it will act accordingly. Let's see if I can show.
Anyone in the audience has any questions, submit them in the chat wherever you might be watching. You don't have to go somewhere special. Just use the chat in front of you. This is Antonio of the Logos blockchain team presenting the Overwatch service written in Rust.
Yeah, I could go back to maybe just to maybe recap and wrap up and
sure, yeah, that would be perfect.
Send something a little bit less
involved.
Like easier to follow. Yeah, we have the Overwatch repo. Besides the ping pong example, we also have a bunch of tests which show very small service logic, but for different domains. We have, for instance, I don't know, like a lifecycle service, which just stores some state in the okay, maybe that's not a good example. Yeah, okay, no. Actually, these are just the tests. Don't really say much, actually. I thought they would be more explicative, but yeah.
Well, we have the demo from earlier, so
yes, and the example is runnable, so anyone can clone the repo and just run cargo run ping pong, and depending on the state, it will run, and they're able to follow everything that's happening.
It's a great point. So it's the Logos-blockchain organization on GitHub, and /Overwatch is the repository, and of course, everything within Logos is open source and available for you to use immediately. So go forth if you are inclined. Antonio, thank you very much. I would love to have you on in the future, and we can continue on Overwatch or other features of the Logos blockchain.
Absolutely.
Especially as things heat up here. I very much appreciate you coming on and dealing with my bloviations and
great
silliness. We will be jumping to Kevin now and looking at Spritz and perhaps some agents, perhaps some live coding, but I would be remiss if I did not at this time for a moment speak about Keycard and the Keycard shell, as SP is so beautifully demonstrating for you on his in his corner. Keycard.tech, Keycard and shell together are the only in the world completely open source, completely air-gapped hardware wallet. All of the code is all of the firmware, and even the case itself is open source for you to 3D print, inspect, audit, build yourself with your own stuff, if you are so inclined. Keycard.tech, and a big shout out to all those other big hardware wallet companies. We know how much you love Keycard, well, just by how much you've been engaging with us. So thank you. Keycard.tech. Those who have pre-ordered your shells, I know I received mine over the weekend, and I have heard that others have as well. If your pre-order hasn't arrived yet, it will arrive very soon. And if you are ordering now, well, then you should get yours rather thusly as well. That is Keycard.tech. Stop playing with your assets. Status app is available right now on desktop, as it has been for quite a while. Status.app, download the desktop app, download the mobile app, use Status. There are an abundance of reasons to do so. And if your privacy and network is something you'd like to keep closer to the vest, then, well, Status app is a good choice. You can right now, at this very moment, go to hub.status.network and pre-deposit a number of different assets to earn karma, a little bit of APY as well. Status Network is an L2. It's built on the Linea ZK EVM stack. It is the world's first gasless L2. There is no gas required to transact on Status Network if your karma balance is high enough. One way you can begin to earn karma immediately is by pre-depositing ETH, Go, SNT, or Linea for various APYs. You can see 31 million SNT locked up, 101 million Linea. Almost, we're scratching 5 million total value locked at this point. Every week it gets a little higher. 2 weeks ago it was at 3, last week at 4. Here we are almost at 5. Status.network is where you can and should go to deposit and be ready. And by the way, I played Karma Climber for the first time over the weekend, and I am excited to battle with you as you start playing the games on Status Network. Karma Climber is in testnet mode, just as Status Network is as well. And last but not least, for the moment, Parallel Society Lisbon, March 6th and 7th, the Counterculture Convergence. Register and get your tickets now at ps.logos.co. Day 1, an unconference. Day 2, many really big, very popular, and very exciting musical acts will be there. We have gigantic partners partnering with the Parallel Society event. To name a few, Tor, maybe you've heard of it, MoneroCon as well, among many others. I will be there. I will see you there. See you in Lisbon, March 6th and 7th at Parallel Society. Okay. I think that's enough of my yapping for the moment. Let us pivot now. We have Kevin Jones with us, of BuidlGuidl, of Edge Node, of Spritz Chat, and I'm excited to get into what you have for us today, Kevin.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. It's good to see you. Good to see everybody. Well, not see everybody, but know that you guys are tuning in and listening. Very, very excited to show off some of the stuff that I've been working on with Spritz, and I guess kind of have some ideas of maybe some stuff that we can like try to vibe code a little bit and kind of like work into Spritz, and yeah, kind of go from there. But yeah, thanks so much for having me.
That's very exciting. Thank you for coming back for your second visit to the program. Kevin, if you want to share your screen, the boat is yours. The wheel is in your hand.
All right, let's do it. Screen's shared. Can you see okay?
Yeah, it should be popping up on a slight delay here. There we are.
Awesome. Awesome, cool. So maybe it just makes sense to like just give a quick brief kind of intro, like, you know, elevator pitch on what Spritz is before we kind of dive into it. You know, Spritz basically, I came on, I think it was last week, right? To kind of talk about Spritz. Spritz is a censorship resistant decentralized chat app for Web3 with some AI and also smart wallet features and vault features. We've actually added some interesting stuff over the last just week. And I'm going to kind of show off some of the stuff that I'm working on for the AI agents. And yeah, so anyone can go to just spritz.chat if you guys are interested to check it out. And that will kind of bring you into here. So when you first connect, you can connect with like a standard crypto wallet, like Ethereum wallet. You can also log in with just like your email address, and we can create a passkey for you under the hood that you can use to sign transactions as well for the smart wallets, which is really cool. And you can also sign in with like digital IDs, things like World ID and Alien ID. So there's a lot of different like options for you. You can also just create a passkey and log in with a passkey. So very versatile. You don't even, it's no KYC. You just log in and you can start chatting. One of the things I've been working on is
can I stop you?
Yes.
I don't want to derail your pitch. How do you manage all those different way to log in, so to speak? How do you manage that in the app?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for the authentication to get into the app, you basically just need to choose one of those options, depending on what you do. Obviously, if you use like a crypto wallet, we're using just their wallet address essentially as the kind of unique user ID. And then we're using sign in with Ethereum to like prove that they own that. For email, we're letting them log in, validating that they actually like get the email and do a callback with the URL with the code. And then at that point, if we'd ask them, hey, you should probably create a passkey to kind of like double secure your account. To if someone got access to your email, they would still need the passkey to log in. And then on top of that, we have the just standard passkeys. And then we just generate a wallet address essentially for them using that passkey. So the high level user ID can change if they're using Alien or World ID, it's like whatever the unique identifier is that comes from the authentication. But if it is any of those other mechanisms like wallet or email or passkeys, then we generate a smart wallet from them off of that passkey. So we try to keep the user ID an Ethereum address wherever we can. But yeah, that can be a little difficult. Does that make sense?
Sorry. Yes, it makes sense. I'm asking because me and Jazz are speaking of probably trying to design some kind of identity system for Logos, because we kind of have the same. Not sure if it's a problem per se, but how do you reconcile user having different wallet address? Sometimes they want to log in with just an email. Sometimes they want their ENS. Sometimes it's a key they have somewhere.
Yeah. When I first started building it, I started just making like random string. Like if they didn't sign in with a wallet, I would essentially like generate them an address. But I'm in the process of like unifying it so that like if you log in again with like your wallet and then you also log in with your email, like it doesn't create two different accounts. It will kind of unify those accounts. So I'm doing a lot of that. Obviously I'm using, I need to store like my user accounts. So I do that in Supabase, and then I have some logic and like Vercel to basically do that. If you go to the docs, actually, the docs are pretty good. And there's a developer section where I kind of explain exactly how the authentication works in kind of like great detail, like how we're using sign up with Ethereum. So I would recommend kind of going through here, and I'd love to just like actually hop on a call with you and chat about it, because there's probably some improvements to the way I do it. And probably some way we could like, maybe even collaborate on a better solution that would make sense. So.
Yeah, I don't want to derail. So for me, identity, that's kind of a big problem in our space. I've been thinking of this problem for like the last 3 years, mostly. Are you familiar with what's it called? It's Dave Usby, the Lippy guy. He invented a way to basically create a log that you can update, linked to a identifier that stays the same, but is also like just unique. So basically, in the log, you can add any key you want, do delegation, revocation, all the thing you would want with a bunch of keys and attestation of anything, basically. So I guess stay tuned for that. That could be
Oh,
interesting.
nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I actually met him. I was on a panel with him. I think it was a Logos event that I was at. He spoke on the panel. I think I was moderating the panel. He's a cool guy and he's super smart. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, the authentication stuff was definitely all my previous apps I've ever built where I'll just sign in with Ethereum. It's easy, but like obviously you want to be a little more versatile. And I was trying to make it so basically we could support passkeys, which are universal. And I think the passkeys are super important because I'm using the passkey and my smart accounts, my smart wallets, and my vaults are safe. So I'm using safe smart accounts and I'm using safe vaults. And so if someone connects with their Ethereum wallet, it's really easy. They can just connect and obviously make signatures with their standard wallet. But if they are doing any of the other mechanisms, we just say, hey, generate a passkey, and then we utilize that passkey and the web auth n method, which basically lets users sign transactions with the passkey, which is really cool. So that opens up a lot of social stuff inside the app where you can create signers and do transactions and a lot of cool stuff with that. So this is actually quite interesting. I would take a look at that as well.
Quick question from Václav in the audience. He says, Claudebot is all over my Twitter and people seem to communicate with it via Signal. Careful there, folks. When's SpritzX Claudebot integration?
Ah, interesting. I'll have to check that out. Claudebot. Okay. That's a good idea. I'm going to write that down right now.
Yeah,
it's
since yesterday, it's been hot on the timeline.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've been a little off of X lately just because I've been so busy heads down on building. Awesome. Okay, cool. So yeah, let me keep rocking here. So one of the things I was working on recently is, ETH Denver's coming up. And if anyone's going to ETH Denver, hit me up. I'd love to meet up and chat about privacy and stuff. But more specifically, I wanted to create a bot for ETH Denver. So if you go into Spritz, there's the ETH Denver chat, and you can essentially just tag and say, hey, Buffy, what is happening on, February 17th, something like that. And essentially this is interacting directly inside the chat with my AI agent that's dedicated for ETH Denver. So it just told me that there's the Genesis Festival, the opening ceremony, and then I can get more information. Just click that and view the full schedule. And then we have this full schedule landing page that a user can kind of go to and get whatever information. Also, Spritz is a progressive web app, so you can install it using just adding it to your Chrome applications. And you can also sync it across devices, obviously, because you have the way to sign your message encryption key. So you're using whatever authentication you're using to sign your encryption key, and you can log into multiple locations. So it's really useful. But what I'd like to maybe do here is I wanted to add a bot in here into the Logos channel, because we have this Logos channel. And so maybe we can walk through and try to do it, and then see if we have any issues and see if we need to vibe code, and also maybe walk through some examples of things that I like to do when I'm vibe coding and building. So so if you go to agents, so if anyone is just a normal user, you go to agents. Right now it's only beta. So if you're interested, just go ahead and apply. And I'll be going through and approving people to kind of experiment and toy around with this stuff. But you can see here, we have Buffy the Unicorn that we already created, or Buffy the Bufficorn. And then I'm going to create a new agent here and kind of walk through what this looks like. And I'm going to start from scratch for the personality, because we don't really need to do that. But it kind of gives you some recommendations of what a personality might be for your AI agent. And we'll just call it Logos Expert for now. I was trying to figure out a cool name to give the Logos AI agent. So if anyone has ideas, let me know.
The Logos Loco.
The Logos logo. Let's do that. Let's do it. And we'll give it a little lightning bolt here, and we don't need to give it a personality because we'll do that later. I'm going to make this an official agent because we have access to some cool stuff that I'm going to show off inside the official agents, which are only basically they're agents that we at Spritz control that have added functionality. And we will add some tags here. So we'll do like logos. We'll say privacy. We will say blockchain. Sure, whatever. And yeah, chat. And I'll do Waku just because people might search Waku. And we'll go create agent. So after you create an agent, then you can come in here and there's like two things you can do. One is you can add some knowledge to the agent. So if you're not familiar with AI agents, there's this concept of like RAG where you can like basically index some data into the knowledge base for the agent so that it doesn't need to like go out to the internet to search for it. It kind of can like query this stuff in a way that's already kind of indexed. And so we can basically put any URL we want in here to index it. So what I was thinking is we can just grab a couple URLs that I know would be useful. The first, I just want to grab the Logos web page. So let's go just to logos.co and let's put that in there. Let's also go to the events page, right, for Logos, and we'll grab that on Luma and add that. Now, I have this additional like option, which is really cool. That's called like fire crawl. So actually like one of these, what I'll do is I'll take this off and I'll actually add back both of these. I forgot to do it. So this fire, if you guys haven't heard of fire crawl, it's really awesome. I actually learned about it from just actually last week. And what it does is it lets you like essentially crawl an endpoint programmatically, either over an API, or I think they also have an MCP server as well that you can run and operate. And it lets you like scrape the website. And it's really, really good at doing it. So I'm going to grab this URL again real quick. And I'm going to paste it in. Where's it at? Here we go. And you can choose the depth. So you can have it like go deeper links. Obviously, the more deeper you go, the more it's going to scrape and kind of get that information and try to index it. I'm just going to do one for right now, just because this is a demo and I don't want to jinx it and have it like take too long. And then I'm also going to have it just auto sync. So I can make it auto sync every week. This is configurable inside of the app. By the way, all my source code for Spritz is open source. You can just go to the Spritz Labs GitHub and you guys can see how I do this. But essentially, I'm just creating a Vercel cron job that will automatically run this fire crawl service and get the newest data. So I'm going to do that over 7 weeks. And you can also like exclude endpoints, like if you don't want to like parse a certain endpoint or something that's unrelated and you want to just like save on some of your scrapes, you do need to pay for this service. So this is a paid service, and obviously you have to have an API key and stuff like that. So all right, I'm going to add that.
Looks like SP added a link in our private chat here on the inside.
Yeah, I was
is
gonna
that
say,
all the specs?
I mean the github.com vec P2P RFC.
Yes.
That's all the spec we have. Maybe index that. That would be cool.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's grab it. So I'll do that, and then I'll go back to here. And is it just that markdown? It's just one big markdown file, yeah?
Maybe you want to remove anything after RFC index. I'm not sure if it's smart enough to just
like everything here.
Yeah. Just because that's that's one spec, but all the spec are in there.
Yeah, that should be good. And at this one, I think I can do at basic because it'll detect that it's marked down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then I just want to grab, what else could I grab? Oh, I was going to grab the Luma page. And maybe what I'll do is I'll try to do the Luma and do like depth 2. Let's just try that. And we'll do also auto sync that every week. Add. Okay. What else docs you think I should add? I was going to add like the Logos docs. Is this a good one here?
Yeah, it's as good as any at this moment. There are as Logos is going through a consolidation, there are still repos and organizations and docs that are separate. I think everything that endpoint is where everything will eventually live if it doesn't already. So that's a good one to use.
Okay.
But it at this point might be a touch incomplete, but
yeah. Okay, no, that's fine. And oh, maybe we'll do Overwatch because we just talked about Overwatch and we can try to ask some questions about Overwatch. Okay, so you get some stuff in here. Then you just need to basically index it. So the initial index is manual process, but basically we're just going out, getting the information. Looks like the this one, which was a more in-depth thing. These ones I used Firecrawl, so they're just taking a little longer. That one's done. So it's pretty cool. Does it all for you. And it's all ready. Okay, cool. So I added this stuff to its knowledge base. Let's also go to the configuration for it. And then we'll upload an image. So I think I had like a Logos. Yeah, there we go. Give it this little Logos icon. And we could add like some context here. One trick that I like to do is like, I like to go to like Claude and I like to build a system prompt for my agents, like as I'm building them. So what I was thinking is like, help me make a agent context for Logos, which is, let me just give it the Logos website here. Let's see if it can like kind of come up with some interesting things, be helpful, whatever, and technically accurate. You have, let's see, you have access to some GitHub repos and some web pages and an event schedule in RAG. Let's see what it can come up with. So I like to just generate this and then put it in there. Obviously, you could like spend a lot of time probably tweaking this, and we probably will have to tweak it a little bit, but let's see what it can come up with. I often use this thing where I like bounce between different AI tools. So I always use Claude, and then I'll bump that into Cursor and vice versa. It's just a way to like kind of almost like filter out your stuff here and make it a little more effective. Let's see. This is not exactly what I wanted. So it's kind of like making like more of a printout, which is not exactly right. I actually want, let's see if I can stop it. Inside my Gemini agent, let's see if I can tell it that.
Some of those URLs are not the most.
They're not correct.
Anymore. I mean, they would have been a couple weeks ago, but yeah, no.
Okay, well, we can assume that maybe some of the URLs might be bad. That's okay. Well, we can filter and kind of, we can use the AI to check too. Okay, so this is decent enough. We'll just grab this and we'll put that in here. Oh, where'd it go? Sorry. Oh no. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Okay. And then what we can do is like give suggested things to ask. Like, I don't know, we said, what can you help me with or something on Logos?
You could add is Waku part of Logos? Because now it's
that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, so these are just like suggested questions, and then up here at the top, I've added this other stuff. So you can basically give it access to web search or like cut it off from the internet. So maybe you just want it to reply with like API stuff. And then you also might want to disable or enable the knowledge base. You also might want to give it access to like an MCP server. So like as context, I'm building one for like the graph where I want it to go out and like talk to the subgraph MCP server, right? Because it needs to know about all the networks that we support and stuff like that. So you can like come in here and you can add an MCP endpoint. You can also add an API endpoint, which is really cool. So you can just like point it somewhere at an API and it will detect what the endpoint is. So like if it's Swagger or GraphQL or whatever, it will identify that that is there and it will index the instructions that it needs, which is really cool. And yeah, so we're not going to enable MCP API for this one. And I also, if you have a schedule set up inside of your app inside Spritz, you can give it access to your schedule for people to schedule time with you. So it's similar to Calendly. You have this option where you can like put in your connect it to Google, and it will be able to schedule calls for you, which is really cool. And then we're going to make this publicly accessible because we're going to test it, and we're going to add it to a channel. We're going to add it to Logos. Here it goes. Cool. All right, so it's in Logos. And if it was an event agent, like for the one for ETH Denver, well, actually, yeah, we want to say maybe there's some events because you guys have events with Logos, right? So we'll let it. It's going to have to get this stuff. Actually, this might not be working, but we'll see. Let's see when we actually start testing it. See, extract from knowledge. Here we go. So let's see if this is going to work. This might take a while. I might have to come back for this, but so it's basically looking in the knowledge base to see if there are any events, and hopefully it did scrape the this page, and it should know some events coming up. Let's see. Oh, it did it. Cool. So found some events coming up, which is really cool. And yeah, all right, so we're good. And what else do we need? Okay, we can also enable X402. Like if we wanted to charge for this agent, we could tell it, hey, like it costs, 5 cents or a penny or something like that to interact with it. We're not going to do that, but it's really cool. Okay, so now we have this agent. So let's go back to the chats and let's try talking to it, I guess. First, let's just try talking to it here. So we'll do at Logos Coco Loco. Hey, how is Waku part of Logos? Let's see. And then we'll also show there is a like a landing page for it as well. Any questions in chat, by the way, while we're
not at the moment, folks. If you are here, and I see there are a number of you that are, wherever you are watching, you can use the chat to ask questions or pepper us with spam. Please don't spam.
Okay. Yeah, no spam. Okay, so what we're going to do, actually, it's not working, and I was kind of expecting this, because in Spritz, we have two kind of chat apps, actually. We have Logos chat apps, which are deployed on Logos network. And then we also have like some centralized ones, which are just like kind of like public channels. So I was toying around with this and basically making it so that when you create a channel, public channel, you can now choose, right? So you can say, oh, I want to just like store it, whatever, or I can put it decentralized. I think eventually I'll probably have this as the default, but people get an option. But I think the issue is that it probably can't communicate with the Logos channel. So this might be something we can try to vibe code. But before that, let's just see if the agent works. So I'm going to go back to agents. And when you create an agent, you get a URL for it. So here it is. So let's go there and see if it works here. Okay, here it goes. So what can you help me with? Is Waku part of Logos? Let's see if this works. Yes, Waku is now part of Logos. What events are coming up today or in the next week for Logos? See if it's working. Cool. Seems like it's working. So the app is working. It's just it's not communicating inside of our logo. So let's see if we can actually get this to work. This is going to be interesting. Let's try to ask it. Okay, so my agent that I configured is available here. I'm just curious. Let's see. But I tried tagging it with @ inside the Logos channel where it's placed, but it won't respond. Let's see what happens. It's that easy, folks. You just type out what you want. Let's see what it does.
Here we go.
It's going to go down the rabbit hole. And I don't even know if this is going to work because this is definitely like a new
What is
feature.
It grepped something there with some sort of ID. I hope that wasn't anything. We'll find out.
Agent visibility must be official. It is official. Agent must be in channel membership table. There must be text after the mention, not just agent. I did that. Services super must be okay. So let's see. So now
I
it's
have
gonna.
I might be, but there's a space in Logos Loco, and when you did @Logos Loco in the chat bar, it kept the space, and I wonder if that breaks the name, so it doesn't know you're referencing Logos Loco. If what I just said makes any sense. Yeah.
No, it should be fine because it's actually tagging. Yeah, it's actually tagging the agent itself. And I think the problem is that it. Well, let's see what it says.
I'm a red herring fisherman. I just search for red herrings.
Let's try it again. Maybe it just needs. Maybe it didn't catch it. Let's see. Hey there. So what's it saying? Let's see. Improved error handling. That doesn't help me. Improving client-side error handling. Checking how agents are displayed. The hook uses polling every 5 seconds instead of real time. That shouldn't matter. So now it's adding a hook, which is good because it found like a little bit of a UX bug. And now it's doing a check to look at. It's just implementing that hook into the channel. What is this? Is Superbase configured? Approved on demand, check, visibility. It is official though. Let's just double check it and make sure. So let's go back here. Let's go here. Let's go to agents. Go to Logos. It's an official one, yeah. Maybe we can give it. So what I could do is please check. So I'm using Superbase MCP server as well. So if you're using Superbase, get the MCP server because it's super valuable and it will just go out and check the database for you. It will automatically like find all the projects and then query the tables. Okay, so now it's checking the database just to make sure that that agent's configured properly. And what we can do is we can try to put him in a different channel and see if it works. Like maybe what we'll do is we'll also place him in, oh, you know what? I just noticed. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, he's in the Logos channel. I'm gonna also add to the Parallel Society channel because Parallel Society is a Superbase table or channel, and Logos is using decentralized. So let's try that. And while we're doing that, let's come over here. Let's close this. Let's go to the Parallel Society chat. Be like GM, and we'll say @Logos, you there? Yep. So it's working in the centralized Superbase one, but it's not working in Logos. It could be a way because of like the session, like basically the agent doesn't have a way to authenticate and like interact with the chat because yeah, there could be some kind of like protocol issue, right?
I was gonna make a joke about decentralization being the problem always.
It's definitely the problem right now, but the problem is sometimes the solution, you know? So, okay, well, let's see what it's trying to do here. So the channel is a Waku channel. so it uses a different messaging path. Checking if Waku channel message triggers it. So Waku channel messages don't trigger agent responses. The send message and use Waku channel doesn't check for agent mentions. Adding the agent mention detection. Cool. All right, we're just adding it. All right, so a fix was applied. So what I'm going to do is just, I always say like build, push to get, and deploy to Vercel. So I'm not asking it just to make sure that the code's not going to fail when it deploys to Vercel, because it's the worst thing when you like wait and then it's like the very last minute it fails. So I'm making sure it builds first. Well, I don't know why it did it get status first, but okay. And it's going to basically automatically, oh, there it goes. So it's going to build. We'll give it that a second. While that's doing that, a couple of things that I'll talk about real quick that I like for my setup. And actually, I don't have it set up here, but inside of projects, what I like to do, and I'll actually show you guys for the docs project that I have. So I'm going to load up my docs project. You know, nobody likes to write docs, especially when you're like trying to build like an application. So what I do is I use AI for all my docs. They're not always 100% accurate, but what I do is I create this MDC file inside of Cursor. If you guys aren't familiar with MDC files, they're basically like markdown Cursor files. So they're specifically designed to like give your application as much your editor as much context into the project and how you want it to behave when it's like doing things for you. So what I did is I generated and created a context and kind of like fine-tuned it. Things like what kind of text is in the stack, how to format things when you're like building the content, you know, how to, I don't know, generate examples or whatever it is that you want your application to be written in that way. Like things that you're always having to nag your AI editor to do, you would maybe put in there. And so that this thing, when you come up here and say always apply or apply intelligently, it will take this and use it as context. So always intelligently, or you could say only certain files, like if you're doing a certain, like, I don't know, maybe you're only editing TypeScript files and you want to make sure that whenever it's editing a TypeScript file, that it always uses the proper, I don't know, whatever syntax that you care about, comments, whatever it is. So you can like create this and it really helps your AI so it will like work the way you want it to. While that's doing that, okay, so looks like it built successfully. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to deploy my app. So I'm going to do a Vercel deployment to production. And then while that's doing that, I'm going to commit these changes into Git. So I'm just like letting it decide what it's going to push to Git right now, which is basically everything that's changed, which is the Waku channel stuff.
Well, you're deploying to prod before pushing to Git.
Yeah.
Or that's
yeah, I mean, it's not best practice. And I just did 2 deploys too, but it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Living boldly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know the only thing that's going to be affected is something that's already broken. So I'm okay with it right now. Plus I don't have like a large user group, you know, right now we're sitting at like almost 200 users. So, but hopefully that changes. Everybody that's listening, great. Please go to Spritz Chat and sign up. We're also going to be using Spritz Chat at Parallel Society. So like day one, everyone will have access to the channel, the agent that I'm building now. And people can interact and create chat rooms, and I'll be there as well, walking around and hopefully give like a workshop and stuff like that as well. So excited for that. Okay.
That is very exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that is good. So we just got to wait for this deploy to finish. So vibe coding, there's a lot of waiting. There's a lot of like downtime, you know, but it's
my least favorite thing about it is the context switching that's required. Like sometimes you just want to not leave that window. It's like, all right, I'm going to get distracted. I have to just watch this work.
Well, so now what I've been doing is I always have like 2 cursors open actually. So I'm kind of like bouncing now between like multiple projects. it's not good for my cursor build, but it's really useful because I can like work on the main app, and then I can work on, you know, something I'm working on for the graph. And then it's kind of interesting how like more productive AI makes you if you really know how to like work with the tools. But yeah, waiting does suck, especially when
I
you have a live
always
live
thought
stream.
that ADHD is an adaptability to the modern world. I think this is a perfect example. Context switching
100%.
like this, I mean, you have advantages, right?
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so it's almost done. I think this one's probably, all right, this one's done. So it should be good now. All right, let's come over here. I'm going to do a hard refresh just to make sure we get a fresh app here. And already authenticated. Connecting to Waku. Logos messaging. All right, let's do it. So we have Parallel Society working. Let's go to Logos and be like, at Logos Loco. Hey, how are you? See if it works.
Come on,
Sweet.
Logo. There it is.
Working. Now the question is, can someone go, does anyone here have spritz? Is anyone in here?
I do.
I would like to see someone come in here and type and see if I can see what the agent says, because that will tell me if this is only for me to see.
SB, can you try? I'm juggling a little bit here.
Yeah, no worries. While that's doing that, let's just ask another question like, hey, what is Parallel Society?
Huh.
It's a 2-day event in Lisbon where music, art, and technologies converge. Cool. Awesome. What else could I ask? What's a hard question? Anyone have a hard question?
Ooh, how does the mix network or libp2p mix work within Logos?
libp2p mix work in Logos.
It's hard for me. I think it's not so hard for others.
Logos uses libp2p for a messaging component, which provides privacy-preserving P2P communications. The mixnet functionality is part of Anon Comms, enhances metadata privacy when routing messages. Seems good.
Sounds right. Got the Anon comms
Cool.
part right.
Okay. So yeah, we'll wait until someone can come in here. And
Oh, it's referencing the roadmap as well there. Mixnet milestone context. Nice.
Yeah. It's pretty smart. I think I've done a pretty good job at getting it to use the knowledge base pretty well. Okay. Let's see. What else can we do here? Trying to think what else. I wanted to get it, so I was going to take a stab at like trying to register someone for an event, but that's a little more difficult because the Luma API, I think you have to pay for it, and I'm not a current customer. But let's see actually real quick. Let's see. One click RSVP. If I click, if I'm not signed in, what does it ask for?
Everything.
Let's see. Sign out. This one. Register. Name. Email.
Yeah, I can obfuscate here real quick.
Let's try to. Let's see. I would like to be able to have my users register for the. This is going to be a tough one. I don't think this is going to work, but let's just ask it because I'm curious, because it's one of the features on my roadmap for the events they have listed. Particularly interested in Luma, but I don't want to use the API. Let's see if there's any alternatives. I don't think there is, but let's see.
We recommend using Partyful. No,
yeah, yeah.
we don't use Partyful.
So I'm thinking about actually just adding in full-on event stuff in spritz too, because it just kind of makes sense. Like if you have an AI agent, just do your own events, or like some kind of wrapper, or like if you're a brand or a protocol like Logos and you want to use this agent, official agent, and you want to put it in like whatever, just like wrap it so that it will just register inside here, and then like email whoever is the organizer and letting them know that this person is interested in attending or something. And then maybe that person can then decide to register them or add them.
I can confirm it's working.
Awesome. So you're able to see all my chat, yeah?
Yes.
That's great. That's cool. This is good. Sweet. Oh yeah, awesome. By the way, you can do these like cool little pixel arts. So if you're like an artist,
What?
you can like
Recreate 1-to-1 a CryptoPunk. Looking left.
That's actually funny, yeah. So failed to send pixel art. Oh, what?
Oh
That's
god.
weird. That's okay. That's a bug. That's the first time it hasn't worked in a long time. I'll have to look into that. Maybe that's something we can fix. But I think we're getting close to time, right? How much time do we have here?
We have as much time as you need. If you have a hard out, we can accommodate that as well.
Adding limit register. It seems like it's adding it. I don't know what the hell it's doing right now, but I'm kind of excited to see what it's going to come up with. It's probably not going to be very good, but
folks, you are watching Kevin Jones. He is live coding and vibe coding via cursor on spritz.chat, which features Logos messaging. Spritz.chat will be used at Parallel Societies, ps.logos.co. Get your tickets now.
Yes, please come say hi. Oh, we're gonna do a spritzer happy hour too. So have some alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks for everybody. So
the Aperol will flow.
The Aperol will flow. Okay, cool. Well, I don't know what it's doing right now, but this is pretty cool. So maybe we'll see if we can get this last push in and see what it comes up with. It would be really cool if we could be like, hey, register me, because so inside of Spritz, you can choose a username, but you can also like verify your email. You can add a phone number if you really want to, so people could search you off your phone number. You can add socials. It recommends that you get an ENS, stuff like that. But if you have your email verified, it would be really cool is if you could just be like, hey, I want to go to, this event, and it would just like register you. No more of this like crap we have to go on and fill all this stuff out, which I hate that. Especially when you're going to like Eat Denver and there's like 200 events. Okay, so it's building right now. So it might just actually, I think what it's doing right now is just giving me the URL, and it's gonna like open it up. This is not what I want. Just looking at what it did. Yeah, which is a little bit of a bummer, but
scold it, threaten it. No.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm about to be like, no, that is not what I want. But I'm trying to think architecturally, like what would be cool, like how would you do that? And I can't really think of how you would do it in a way that would be interesting, because essentially you're having to have like the agent loaded up in a browser and like add some data and pass and like click it for you, basically. Which I don't even know if that's how feasible that is with an AI agent, because you almost got to give it like an environment to do that. I'm going to stop it just because I'm concerned that it's probably not doing what I want. I'm just going to say like
100,000 tokens burned.
Yeah, burned. Is it possible to have the agent fill the Luma form for me? Oh, it did pass, so that's good. I'm just going to go ahead and enter. So if you hit enter, it's just going to like queue it, and then you always have to click the little button to send it, or hit shift enter and it will send it. Yeah, but yeah, so far so good. We were able to get the Logos agent working in the channel, which is good. One problem solved. Now let's just see if we can do this last one, and then we'll call it here. Yeah, I'm interested to see what it's going to do because I've actually never done anything like this with agents. So it'd be really cool if it like had its own like browser. You know, it's like literally like your assistant. One of the narratives in Spritz is like you have this ability. While that's doing that, let me show this off real quick. So I have two things, which is really cool. One is you can add your Google Calendar here, connect it, and you can say what windows are available, just like Calendly. And so if you create an AI agent, like let's take a look at Java Joe here. No, sorry, Alien Alex. We can say
missed opportunity to call it Mocha Joe, but okay.
Mocha Joe. Hey, can you schedule time with Crypto Mastery? And if you've connected your, like Crypto Mastery is one of my other accounts, I've connected my wallet and opened it up or connected my thing. Now it says, yeah, you can also do paid sessions. So you can also like require like, I don't know, maybe it's like $5 or $10 or something to, you know, make sure no one's like scamming. Maybe it's like a penny, I don't know, whatever. Or you can do a free call. So it'll fetch your calendar, and I'll say 4:30 p.m. With Joe. What did you say? Mocha Joe?
Mocha Joe, Curb Your Enthusiasm character.
Oh, okay. All right. So mochajoe@gmail.com. Mocha
My
Joe's
favorite thing is making very niche American references that the audience doesn't get. That's my special.
I've heard you do it a few times actually, and I love that. I'm like that with my kids. Like I'm always saying movie quotes and they're like looking at me like. Okay, there it goes. It worked. So I booked a call through the AI agent. So that's really cool, right? And so it'd be ideal, same thing. Like it's just your personal assistant. Like, oh, register me for this. You know, it seems like it's doing it. So let's see what it does. Oh, the other thing is if you go to settings, I have this cool profile that you can do. So you can like, I don't know if everyone's heard of Bento before, but Bento is like they got bought by Linktree, but you can like create these like widgets. And so you can edit, you can add any kind of widget you want. So I can say like add a widget, a map, and I can say San Francisco, USA, 94107. I'm trying to remember the zip code there. Add it. And then I can move it here and I can save it. So you can like build this kind of like custom little profile that is available. So if, as an example, like app.spritz.chat/Taylor Swift, we have like this one. Oh, sorry, I did it wrong. /user. So you can add all these like interesting widgets and like customize it, which is kind of cool. So if you have your schedule configured with Spritz, you can add it here. If you have AI agents that you've created, you want to give them to people, you can put them here. So you can put like your virtual assistant here. Yeah, basically like give your, yeah, kind of like a custom little like user profile. It's pretty cool. All right.
Very nice.
What we got here? So we got user registration. It needs to do a database thing. So it looks like it created an API. Oh, I don't know if it's going to work. I'm really excited to see if it's going to work though. Let's try it. Wait, managing registration preferences, add a browser. Oh, it wants to do a lot of stuff. Okay, we'll keep rocking, and also use Supabase MCP to make any changes needed. This is true vibe coding right now. So it looks like what it did. Let's take a look. Creating a browser automation solution with Luma registration. Oh, sorry, it's just gonna, I gotta do this real quick. It's gonna pop up.
The anticipation.
Yeah, it is. It'd be really cool if I got this working though. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna take a little longer though, because it still needs to. So what's been built? User registration storage, the API to register, a redirect page, redirects to the Luma page. Data is available for clients that fill scripts. So it's going to like try to fill the page via the API, which is kind of cool. But it's got to know what to fill. So I'm wondering if there's going to be like an issue with like when I scraped it, knowing what the registration needed. Added to the events page, handles the registration process. So now what it needs to still do, registration link with user data. Oh, so they need to like type in the stuff. So that's okay maybe, because at least it's doing it inside of the chat and the user doesn't have to like go out and like go to the Luma page. So I think what it's going to do is going to give all, like similar to how I just did for like my schedule, it will basically ask for what's needed, and then the user can type it all inside the chat and area and then send it. So the true full stuff doesn't happen unless you do browser automation. So right now it's just going to like, you click the button and it's going to send you there and probably like fill out all the information. So not ideal, but let's test it out and see. Still going. While that's doing that, any other questions or any comments in the chat?
The chat is quiet.
Okay.
So the agent talks to the Supabase MCP server and the Luma API, theoretically, to be able to register someone for an event, whatever is available on that events list, and can register the user without them ever leaving the Spritz chat screen.
Hopefully that's the idea. Let's see what it actually wrote. Because I think yeah, but it is using the Supabase JS actually, not the MCP server. So it's just going out, getting the information it needs inside the application, and then it's probably making, well, hopefully it just has that information there in the database, and then it's just like figuring out what fields need to be filled, and then probably there's like a button that you'll click to register, and then it will just open it up with everything filled out, and then you'll have to click submit. I don't know. We'll have to see.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, it's adding registration preferences, which is kind of interesting.
User address.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. This is a really tricky one. Yeah, user address. So that's like the end address of the user. Oh, well, it's done. Let's let it build. Okay, while it's doing that, I'll show off the wallet stuff, I guess. So the wallets are cool because, again, they're, you know, when you authenticate to Spritz, you have either a EOA wallet, regular wallet, or you have a passkey that you need to create to be able to create a smart wallet. So you can actually sign transactions using your passkey, using the WebAuthn implementation. So why that's cool is if you anybody that's even like authenticated with email or a passkey, you can essentially they'll have a predetermined address, a Spritz wallet address that we create for them, and that's what this is. The trick is that these are smart wallets, so they are not deployed until you basically do your first transaction. So I'm sponsoring like gas right now on like all layer 2s, but on mainnet to deploy a smart account is quite expensive. So there's this caveat that I don't recommend you use mainnet because you'll need to pay to deploy the safe smart account because it's an actual smart contract. But essentially you can receive assets on any of those chains, and you can use those inside of this smart account wallet, and then you can send tokens through here as well. So you can go to send USDC. I'll just do Vitalik.eth, and I'll send him a penny. And yeah,
Dust his address.
so I'm just sending him a penny, but I'm just signing the transaction. I'm not actually paying any gas. There it goes. I just sent him a penny. So these are smart wallets. And again, they support as long as you use either an EOA or a passkey. And then we have this concept of vaults, which is really cool. Well, that's just, let me double check. That's still going.
Now Vitalik's going to market dump half that penny and donate the other half to the ETH Foundation.
Yeah. So the vaults are really cool because you could say like, oh, I want to do a new vault, and it could be like, I don't know, savings account for me and a friend. And you can like pick something and then choose what chain you want. And then you can give them. So like, here's Jeff, whatever. I could like do as many people as I want or as little as I want. Just because I don't want to spam people, I'll choose myself. And I like test accounts. And then you can check it, do a threshold. So like, you know, 1 of X signatures. So if I want to do like 2 of 3, we have this like safe between a few people, and like 2 people need to determine what those funds are for. I'll just do 1 and create the vault. And with the same thing, this will create a deterministic address for the vault. And then you can deploy it with just 1 click. So here I'm not paying any gas, just, oh, I'm sorry, I am paying gas. You do need to pay for the gas on the smart wallets. Or sorry, on the vaults, which are multi-sigs. So both of these are safe, either safe smart accounts or safe multi-sig. So there goes. So now I have this vault, and I can receive some funds to it, or I can send funds to anyone inside of this like social, and it supports passkeys, which is really cool.
So you can get a neophyte crypto person. They can sign up with a passkey. They can have their wallet set up. They can start receiving funds and sending funds, all while never leaving the Spritz chat screen.
Yep. Yeah.
There aren't that many apps that can do that.
I don't know any that can do that, actually. I mean, there's like smart account stuff, but
like Privy Wallet stuff, I guess, but not like this.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty new concept. It's funny because Vitalik was talking about this like a year ago. Like I remember I was at like, I don't remember where I was, but I saw he did a talk about, I think it was in what's it called? What's the college that he went to?
Waterloo.
Waterloo. It was at ETH Waterloo. Maybe it was like a year and a half ago or something. And he was talking about like ideas. And one of the things is like social vaults, I think. And he's been talking about it for a while. And he also tweeted about passkeys like a year ago. Same thing, like using passkeys in wallets makes a lot of sense. It opens up a lot of like use cases for like someone who doesn't need to know their smartphone, you know, as long as they can like back up their passkey, then they don't need to like write down this, you know, 12 words and all this crap. So it's very, very interesting.
It's always interesting to see when, especially when Vitalik gets on when he's on his new trip, whatever it is, and it seems to rotate about every 6 months. Because about 9 months ago, he began really leaning into privacy, maybe even a little bit more than that at this point. And lo and behold, about 6 months later, privacy became the new hotness out of nowhere, seemingly. But it's usually, there's like the 6 to 9 month vitalik lag where when he picks up on a new focus, he deploys tens of, well, at least like thousands of people to try to break down that door. It's very interesting how that works.
Yeah, and I think like, what was I going to say right now? Yeah, no one's really done that with the social wallet stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone really like truly accomplish that. I mean, Safe maybe has some stuff there where you can do it with Safe maybe directly. I'm not sure. But it's still Safe's hard to use, you know? So
yeah.
All right, this is taking too long. So
All right.
we didn't get fully like done, but I think we're at a good spot where we can stop it. We went way over time, so I apologize for that.
No need to apologize at all. Very, very much appreciated. We can always continue or just pick up whatever you're working on in the moment on a future show. But Kevin, you're very much a friend of the show, as well as SP. Thank you very much for being here.
Yes, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Everyone check out spritz.chat. Follow Kevin on X at Shutterblock. No, but it's Crypto Mastery something, right? At
Crypto Mastery _ yeah.
_ or shutterblock.eth. SP, thank you very much again for hanging out and asking the questions that I am incapable of asking. Hope that's not the view I wanted.
On winning, maybe?
Folks, if you haven't yet, go register for your Parallel Society tickets at ps.logos.co. Oh, there I am. ps.logos.co, logos.co/take action if you want to be first to know when things happen. Sign up for updates there. We do have the Logos Circle X Space live tomorrow. Follow Logos_network and join that space as it happens, or of course catch it as on the replay. Has been Dev Club. We'll see you every day this week, broadcasting somewhere. Keep track of everything at logos.co. And until I see you again, todo es mentira desde el mundo, todo es mentira, la verdad. The world is a lie, and that lie is the truth. Thank you.